All right. So, hello. You are the PM section of this meeting, for me at least, and you're the AM version for yourselves. So, thanks for joining me for the September meeting. Um,
Thanks, Amy.
so, you know how every time in our meetings I'm going to plant a little Easter egg so that I can quiz everybody and make sure everyone's looking at this recording. So, today's person that I have featured, does anyone recognize her?
Mm, no.
Really?
No.
What? Well, I guess it's
Gee.
not a typical photo of this particular person. Does anyone know? Oh, wait, I don't want to give everything away. Okay, she's a very important lady in computing history who helped make a compiler for a program called COBOL. Any guesses?
Uh, yeah, I can't remember the name, but I have heard of her.
Her last name sounds like part of a jumping insect.
I mean, insect. Okay.
Oh, I'm just messing with you. Okay, her name is Grace Hopper. And
Hopper.
Oh, right.
yeah, so she's like a very sassy lady in American computing history who was a rear admiral in the Navy. And we're going to come to like the really fun part of the Easter egg later on after I deliver the meat of this meeting. But just so your interest has been piqued, I wanted to let you in on who I'd be talking about. Every time I'm going to
Okay.
feature a woman in computing history if I can. Oh, so before I jump ahead, thank you so much for your activity reports, your action plans, your forms. I think we got most of the housekeeping done, but if I, during this weekend, when I'm actually looking through and writing notes and sending them to you, if I notice that something's missing, I'll just give you a heads up. And later on, I'm going to show you how to create your invoice so you get the first part of your stipend. I'm really excited to pay you guys or have you get paid.
Thanks,
Oh,
Amy.
Grace Hopper said, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you recall, our last meeting, we were talking about the action plan and what all that entailed. From what I've seen from you guys so far, you totally get the action plan, and I'm really excited. And I just want to reiterate again that it's not just for your students, but it's also for you. So, what is going to make you
Mhm.
successful when you work with this program? We have so many new things to announce that I'm going to get to that it's going to be a really cool year. But because some things have changed a little in the curriculum, you might have a few bumps in the road if you're used to doing things a certain way. But we hope that the new units that we're rolling out starting October 1st will ultimately have you enable you to have a much better user experience with your students. So I'm kind of excited. I'm not sure if I gave any of you units to review, but if you do want to review any upcoming units, then just let me know. The turnaround time is really fast for that because our team is working against the clock. But just let me know because it's kind of exciting to be able to put input on, what's going to be the curriculum this year.
Mm.
All right.
Great, thanks.
So what we're going to talk about today is kind of focusing on what a Technovation club is and what's the first step you can take to getting interest, generated from students in your community in Technovation. Before you guys came on the line, Tim was talking about all the stuff that's been going on all over his part of Australia. So Janine is also, crazy busy making stuff happen. And it's really exciting to see what's going on, both in Slack when you guys share and in your activity reports. So especially if you have good news, definitely share that on Slack so other people can be energized by what's going on.
Mm.
Yeah. So, hey, Rodney, has anything fun been going on in Vanuatu?
Now we're just trying to kick it, kick Technovation here. So still getting my network, and then I'm planning to send the principal letters. I just want to get the overall schools in Vanuatu and if they have internet connections and lab. some resources they could use. So probably after this meeting, I'll go ahead and draft out some principal letters to roll out Technovation in their schools.
Cool. It's so exciting. Cool. All right. So today, I don't want to keep you here too long. Today, we're going to just talk about some updates and some cool stuff that's been going on, trends that I've noticed in the action plans up to this point and the activity reports. So, like a synthesis of all that. Answering your questions and thoughts, hearing your thoughts really about what you think a Technovation Club is, because I really want to get some messaging out about that to all the mentors. Recruiting tips if you need or want them, or suggestions. And then we're going to talk quickly about, what we hope to achieve with a Technovation launch workshop. I'm going to give you some examples of stuff I've used when I've done these. And then I don't have a workshop plan template ready right now, but I will, by the end of this weekend, and I'm going to share that with you guys. So you can take what we're giving you and make it your own, and then talk about next steps. So I guess the first big piece of news is that we've partnered with Made with Code by Google, and which is their Girls in Technology initiative. And so far, it's been pretty amazing. It's been a roller coaster ride for a lot of the team, just trying to get everything ready. There's going to be a kind of global citizenship, I think, summit that Google's doing this weekend in New York City. And a lot of the team is going to be there. And, like people who's been talking about it, there's just been a lot of buzz. I'll just leave it at that. But that also means that it's been taking a bit of our team time to focus on that and pivot. And I would have liked to get you direct responses to your activity plans and all that today, but it's just going to have to wait a few days. So my apologies on that one. I have not forgotten you. It's just that I've had to pivot quite a bit in the past few days.
It sounds like an exciting time, Amy. Yeah.
It's great. There's never a dull moment working on this team and with really exciting partners. One of the cool things that you're going to see this year is that we're asking teams to follow some guidelines for the topics of the apps that they're going to be doing. So the problems we're asking them to solve are going to align more with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And I should probably...
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's going to be cool in many ways, but you might have a few challenges as a result because certain topics, a team can choose to solve whatever problem they want, but we're really going to sort of push for them to be solving problems in these sustainable development goals. So when we do roll that out, I will have more information for you. So, the whole thrust and gist of the problem solving in the community is the same. There's still ideation going on. They're still developing an app, through App Inventor or whichever platform. They're still going to write business plans if they're in high school or between the ages of 15 and 18. Younger students between 10 and 14 are still going to do this, but they're not in their judging rubric. It's not going to be like focusing on the business side of things for them. It's more about the problem solving and the technology. So those things are a bit different because we wanted to give younger students the opportunity to more carefully think about the problem and the technology. So, yeah, we did get a lot of feedback last year that middle schoolers had a hard time wrapping their minds around a lot of the entrepreneurship stuff. So we wanted to pull back a little on that and give them space to problem solve and create with technology. So
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Do any of you work with the younger age groups?
Yeah, I do. I've got girls starting from age 10 through to my oldest will be 16, so that's kind of the range.
Cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, good, Randy. Yeah, that's great. Oh, I see Gabriella's here too. Hello. Anyway,
So Amy, Amy, they won't have to submit any of the business plans in the 10 to 14 age group?
no, they do not have to. I have to find out whether they still can if they want to, but it won't be
Okay.
mandatory. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that'll be nice for you guys because I feel like a lot of teams are rushing and hastening towards the end and submitting. And yeah, I mean, developmentally, I feel like the middle school group, the younger ones, don't quite have the same relationship to money and finances. So,
Mm.
yeah. So you'll see the difference. We're going to be rolling out the new curriculum starting October 1st. You can still have your teams register now because the platform is ready now. And I've shared what it kind of looks like on the Slack channel. So feel free to enroll everybody now and then keep your eyes peeled for the October 1st curriculum launch.
Cool.
Hooray! It's been really challenging and really great working with different people for my team to actually get the curriculum updated and uploaded. So, and as a result of our partnership with Made with Code, we're doing some pre-units. So not just, well, actually those units will consist of, I think, more App Inventor sort of tutorials and stuff like that, and block-based programming. So it would be a nice entree into the discussion about technology.
Yo, estaban training, asal.
Yeah.
Estaban training, asal. Estaba dices.
We're going to cross the line.
Is that Rodney?
Sa revenue pinalong tanis.
Oh, I think I might have Rodney from, or all of you. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna just keep that muted for a second and then move on. So that is our updates, which are pretty cool. You guys can use the chat in order to ask me to enable your microphone again. Let's see. Okay, so moving forward. Thank you for your activity reports. They're all looking great. I was looking especially for what the stumbling blocks were and finding out, if there's a lot of internet connectivity problems, what's going on. I did see some mention of this, not having reliable internet. So we were brainstorming a lot in the morning session about how to address that. So I'm wondering, and I just turned your mics back on, if anyone is having a particular problem with internet reliability.
No, we're certainly at our school, we're pretty lucky. We don't have any problems there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, in Vanuatu, I just want to kick off the program with schools that have internet for now.
Okay. So yeah, it seems like it really varies on the country and the location. But just so you know, a lot of your fellow master educators do have this issue, and some of them couldn't even make it to the meeting because of not natural disasters, but storms, stuff that affects that. And a lot of the brainstorming that came out was, maybe reaching out to sponsors or companies to see if computers can be used on their sites at certain times, stuff like that. So we also decided to create a Slack channel just about connectivity and problem solving around that. So I'm going to do that today if someone else has not started it. Safety for students was another big thing. Getting students from point A to B has been an issue from some of the master educators. I'm wondering if any of you have that issue as well.
Not for us.
Okay.
Do you just mean transporting students around, Amy, from different locations, or yeah? For us, it's probably more the cost. I can see next term, like if we want to do some workshops in the city, which we're thinking of doing. But yeah, just the cost of transporting them, and I'm just sort of debating about sponsorship versus girls contributing to the travel costs. Just thinking that over at the moment.
That's a good point. I'm going to come back to that because we're going to have a fundraising webinar next week around 3 hours earlier. No, it's going to be 12 p.m. Pacific Standard. So,
Okay.
Jody,
yeah.
Jody, I was thinking because you guys have good internet connection, probably you schedule some online, whatever sort of what we're doing now.
Yeah,
I
I was
don't know
just
if that's
thinking.
possible.
Yeah, that would be good for ongoing. I'm just thinking for that initial, launch and some of the get together
Okay.
bits and pieces. It's nice to be a bit face to face a couple of times if you can be, but it's getting everyone together.
Yeah.
But online's terrific, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about that, about things like letters of support. I know in some countries in Europe they need these letters of support. They need certain things to enable a Technovation Club to even happen on their school site. So if there's anything like that you guys need, definitely let me know because I'm trying to get resources created that don't exist yet, Right. It seems like you guys, it's not as challenging for you guys. Some of the people that met this morning had real problems with that, especially in Spain and Cambodia. Yeah. Well, okay. Getting parents on board was another issue that I saw, especially in certain places like India or places where girls are traditionally not, the families want to either have them stay at home after school or, like some justification has been sought for. So one of the things that we're doing to address that is working closely with student ambassadors to get that messaging out and that wording about how students benefit. And we have some interviews with a parent who came to the World Pitch event last July. It seems like a year ago. And stuff like that. So we will be adding new materials, including internet safety, which is kind of good. So we've taken.
That's a good idea, Amy.
Yeah. I think especially for the younger groups, just about digital citizenship and how can they protect themselves in the digital age. So that's another thing. So I'm excited about that.
Fantastic. That's great, Amy. Yeah.
So aside from the challenges, have you guys had any serious stumbling blocks that you want to talk about right now?
I suppose my biggest challenge is with older girls. They're just so self-conscious about putting themselves out there, and it's the challenge. I think in my report I wrote, I did a big pitch for the competition, and just as I was leaving, the year coordinator for the year 9s, so they're all about 15, 14, said, okay, who'd put up your hand if you'd be interested, and all the girls, there were so many girls that were interested because they went to put their hand up, but then they looked around, and didn't put their hands up. And so then I actually went and saw them individually and said, I saw you were going to put your hand up, but then you didn't. Well, so did this person and this person and this person, so why don't we talk to them? And so I think the girls in the middle school, they're just all so keen. They're not bothered by that sort of thing, but and that's why I'm really targeting them. But once they're about 14 or 15, they become so self-conscious about putting themselves out there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Definitely. There's some groups that have no qualms at all about getting out there, and there's some that need extra coaxing. And I think it's good to, just take the barometer with them every so often and say, like, how are you guys feeling? Like, you're doing a lot of thinking, but how are you guys feeling about all this?
Yeah. And it was interesting talking to the Pause Out girls about that. They said that their friends were giving them a bit of a hard time about being involved in it until they went to the World Pitch. And that kind of was, oh, okay, well, that's actually really cool. And so now they're kind of the envy of the others.
Yeah, it is validating to go somewhere and do your thing and have other people appreciate it. So maybe showing
Yeah.
examples of how that work was appreciated would help.
Yeah, they're my biggest allies right now in trying to tackle that with the older girls.
Yeah, I totally
Oh,
hear
good
that.
on 'em.
Cool. Well, yeah, before you guys came online too, Tim was telling me about, all the stuff going on in Brisbane and the superhero stuff. I mean, how cool is all of that? I really love the way Janine galvanizes girls and gets them to think of themselves as superheroes, like maybe take it out of the realm of reality a little and show them as superheroes. Change the way you talk about this. Change the way people
Mm.
see it. Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. And she's also got quite a bit of media, uh, television media about that, which has been quite good. It's been good exposure.
Yeah. And Toko in South Africa was also on TV recently. So that was cool. Whenever anyone gets a soundbite or something great happens, we like to put it in the Slack channel. So keep your eyes peeled there for just little doses of goodness sometimes, because I know it's really hard for you guys,
Mm.
and seeing the small victories and stuff like this can really make you happy and keep you
Mm.
motivated. So I mean, what motivates us after all the hard work is seeing how great the launch looks of the platform and our rebranding, doing a lot of the edits and improvements to the curriculum. So feel free to reach out to me if anything confuses you about the updated curriculum. All right. So I'm just trying to get you all into a groove too with reporting. So every month, I won't make you do something big all the time. The action plan is kind of like your big push to get you started. But basically every month there will be a really quick report. And then this year, mid-year, around after Christmas or so, I'd like to check in with everyone and take the barometer and see how everyone's doing. All
Sounds
right.
good. We break up here, Amy, in Australia mid-December and then back to school early Feb. So, but yeah, I can meet in January. I don't know about you, Tim. Are you?
Yeah, that works
Um,
with me.
Okay.
yeah,
Mhm. Me too.
we won't see our girls for about 6-7 weeks.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
long break.
Yeah, it's equivalent. Well, a bit shorter than your summer break, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that. Like, oh, it's all summer. Okay. Okay. Well, so just getting back to the Technovation Club, do you guys feel like you need more discussion on what your interpretation of a club is?
I don't
Mm.
think so. I've got a fairly clear picture, I think, of what we're aiming for and how it's going to work. I'm just keen to get it actually um, happening from next week.
Yeah. How
I
about you?
think for us here, oh, sorry, can I talk, Amy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like well, they sort of set up a coding club here at school, so I just sort of wanted to start changing the language to Technovation Club, and change the thinking of the girls. So I probably, like, we're about to go on holidays, but then we'll come back in a couple of weeks, and I'd probably like to present to an assembly just to reframe, girls thinking around what a Technovation Club might be instead of like a coding club, because Technovation's so it's a lot different to perhaps what they perceive, the club to be. So I think, the entrepreneurship bit for the older girls will be a real interesting a draw card for them, because we've just started some different entrepreneurship studies here at the school, and the girls have taken that up in huge numbers. So entrepreneurship here is huge. So the whole Technovation with the digital entrepreneurship side will really, I think, change their thinking as opposed to just thinking of it as pure coding.
Yeah, I think what I like about Technovation in general is its application to the real world and bringing in people from the community
Mm.
who can really give some nice insight into the process.
And we're looking here at an old a girl that used to go to our school here. She's now the state accounts manager for Microsoft, and she has. I'm talking to her later on today about being our sort of a lead mentor, so that she can help us bring other mentors in at different stages of need. So that'll be exciting if she can support sort of our entrepreneurship side, particularly. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. It's really, I've met a bunch of Technovation alumni recently in different contexts, and they are always the ones who bring the most energy to the whole group, and they're like the bridge between us and students. And when girls can see an example of someone who went through this thing and like the boot camp, and then they got a job after, and you know how this program translated to real life, I think it's such a help. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, so I mean, there's nothing new here, but basically, you know, people in corporate like SMB, they don't all have to have exact, you know, every week, same place, same time, but consistency is something that we saw girls were responding to last year. Whether someone was consistent with them or not really meant a lot to them. So, you know, just being cordial and letting people know if you guys can't come or people you invite can't come is always good. And also debriefing and inviting people from the outside to come in and talk to them. So if you can bring them places that are kind of neat and interesting, that give them the inside scoop on what it's like to work somewhere, and then, you know, talking about what it all means with them after, because another bit of feedback we got was that, you know, after they submit, after the pitch event, sometimes it all kind of sinks into a black hole. And they're like, all right, we just spent 3 months of our life doing this, and now what? You know, so giving them ideas on how to take their ideas further and not just have it end with a competition is kind of great. What we're really aiming for. So, in order to help
What
you, oh yeah,
What do you mean by office hours there?
oh, some people establish regular office hours, whether it's like, you know, coming in for, you know, like a college office professor would. Whether you're a teacher, you might have like specific hours, or just making time to say, okay, you know, I'm not on site at this time, but if you guys have email at a specific time, you can be guaranteed that I will like respond to you then. Or some people do
Okay.
Twitter chats or other ways to like get information at a certain time through social media.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, what I was talking about before was not just supporting them with the thought process, but emotionally when they hit solid walls and you know they're not getting along as a team, you know, helping them get past those hurdles because sometimes those hurdles can stop them dead in their tracks. You know? So and celebrating. One thing that Technovation Minnesota does really well is they have like a high volume of teams and groups involved. But one thing they do really well is they celebrate after the live pitch events, and they have like dance parties and stuff. And it actually was really fun, and I wish I could have gone to the last one because I felt like I missed out.
Hmm.
So having it turn into a party can be pretty nice, and they do that well. So I'm going to share best practices with you guys as the year goes on.
That's very cool.
I'm definitely going to try to capture some of what they do because I think we could all benefit from learning what works for them. Oh, oh, did you guys notice that we have business cards for you now?
Oh,
Yes,
no,
I
I
did
didn't
see
see
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I know they're nicer than my old cards. I can't wait to get my new cards. So definitely,
Was that on Slack, Amy?
yeah, that's on Slack. But later on, when you access this presentation, you can click on the resources word on the
Oh
slide.
yeah,
Yeah, it's actually a hyperlink. So that has a folder with everything in it, from flyers,
beautiful.
the our style guide, logo, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yes. So Tim's blessing, I just kind of cut and pasted and did a screenshot of his action plan because I wanted to show you guys what I liked about some of these. And one thing that I loved was that he wants to collaborate with another master educator, Jody. Congratulations.
Yay.
And the Skype sessions maybe with Rodney. So you guys are actively thinking about how to use each other and use the best of what you have to offer each other. So I like
It's great because you guys are fairly close. You're only like about 4,000 k's away.
Yeah, we're like next door neighbours. That's right. I can see you from here, Tim.
I know. Yes, but you also mentioned that you use Skype and other things. So you're finding ways to creatively get together and and have your students enjoy each other, I think that a different program I worked for, it was very similar to this though. Like some of the high points that people really said were our students got to know each other and they got really excited.
Mm.
So that international collaboration or inter-country, whatever that word is, that national collaboration has always been a high point for students. So I would definitely stick
Mm.
on that and take it and run. I liked your personal statement, mission, the milestones. I like that you added your own goals. A lot of people just cut and paste my goals, and that's fine. But I like that you actually thought about it. So, and you also seem to have, even more information about what your longer term plan was for the year. So that was cool.
Mm.
And I will be getting back to you this weekend. As I mentioned, I'm sorry, I've been scrambling to get stuff done, and I have not forgotten you guys. So, yes. And you can also just see how Tom, I'm going to try and mask it, how Tim broke things down into tasks, which was cool. So, thank you. Do you want to talk about anything specific in your action plans while we're together now? Anything you remember you desperately want to ask about?
Not specifically.
Okay, I mean, I'm going to be sending you personalized comments, and we can always finish the conversation by email or whatever. And you can always feel free to email me. Right now, I'm working part time, but I'll be going back to full time in about a month, so I'll be a lot more accessible very soon. All right, so no more questions. You'll see in the materials section and in the email I send out after that I have some suggestions for the Technovation Launch Workshop. And the way that we've
Mm.
done this in the past, and we've had info on our website before, but I felt like I wanted to actually have a conversation about this and make sure that students and educators have a pretty successful launch workshop to drum up interest, to bring the people in your neighborhoods together. And there's kind of a formula that we've been using that's been pretty successful. And it's typically a 4-hour workshop on a weekend, like contacting a company or a place where there's usually like a tech company works really well. And you get some food there for the afternoon. And in the morning, before they eat lunch, they do a brainstorming session. And my brainstorming session, if you look at the sheet, get kind of into detail. It's about 2 hours. And the guiding questions are, what are some of the problems in your community? What are you guys passionate about solving? And then taking that a step further, making a prototype for that and thinking about potential features that your app would have, thinking about what the user's needs are, So already starting to design think a little bit of this and just get them really excited for the upcoming year. So there's a whole bunch of problem ID stuff. There's going to be an ideation pre-unit that I could actually share with you. It's mostly done. This would take that a step further, and it's going to be part of the curriculum. So that is part one. And then usually there's lunch in between. Have you guys done a lot of brainstorming sessions with students around Technovation?
I have not
Yep.
yet.
I think,
Oh, a little bit. I could like to work on that more, I think.
yeah, for me, this is the absolute most fun part, and that's the reason why I did that unit. I chose to make it over the other ones. So I can share that with you too, just so you have an idea before we launch it in a week or so. But the brainstorming part is super fun, and I noticed that when students led it, it was okay in the Bay Area, but when the mentors and educators and myself, when we lead it, I think we have a kind of better handle on guiding students through brainstorming because it's actually really subtle and teams, yeah, students usually lead the technology part of the Technovation Launch Workshop a little bit better.
So
So,
what was that last bit, Amy? They leave the technology part, did you say?
yeah, so the second part of the launch workshop is usually like an app inventor tutorial. And I really love it when students lead this part because they're so savvy and, they just have a way of speaking with um, their peers in a way that's really fun. And so I worked together with one of our student ambassadors, Annika, to create a set of, intro to App Inventor tutorials. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, I cut and paste one here. She and I worked on some guiding questions, like what is computer science and code? How does it influence your daily life? How can you make an impact with it? So she and I worked on this, and I think that if you look at this, you might come up with some good suggestions for making it more your own. But I just wanted you to know that this exists and that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can use this stuff for your launch work.
Mm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so there's a link to that presentation, all of the two ones I just showed you in the materials section, but I'll also send it out in an email.
That's really helpful, Amy. Thanks.
Yeah. One thing
Thank you.
Kathy asked for, which I thought was cool, was, like, all right, we have this club now. Like, what are some cool exercises we can do right now? And she was looking at the App Inventor ones, which are pretty good. So, yeah, this one contains one of those. Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so the Technovation Club would be different groups, right? Teams in an area, or like I could do a club in Vanuatu. Is that all right?
Yeah. If you have one team or if you have multiple teams, it's totally fine. And the idea for the launch workshop is to bring together as many people as you can, students who have signed up, mentors who have signed up, people who are considering signing up, but they're on the fence, people like that, just to get them kind of ensconced in the whole process and know what it's
Yeah.
going to be like. Yeah,
Okay.
so fun. Now for the other
So
fun, you guys are
when,
paid.
sorry, can I
Well,
ask another question?
okay, yeah, let me go back.
Just, what time frame would the launch be? Next month or?
So we have in mind
Okay.
between October and January. So it's a bit flexible.
Okay.
The earlier, the better.
Okay. Cool.
I'm going to be sending around like a Google Doc where people can put in the time. Like we want to be able to alert people that there will be launch workshops and have that info on our website. So the sooner you pick a date, probably the better. And I'll set that up. Ooh, it's getting dark here. All right, so wrapping things up. You guys are getting paid. I'm very happy to tell you. So this is the reason for all that housekeeping with all the forms. And I think that I have all your forms, but I'll double check when I look at your stuff. And we should be able to start processing paperwork for a $500 installment for October 1st. So those forms are necessary. Also, when you send that, well, actually, here's what the process is. So we're going to ask you for an invoice, and I have that whole template, which yep, it's linked to. Okay, so you'll see in just a screenshot I did that it's very simple. You just fill in your name and your country and your date. We'll take your address and all of your banking info that you sent us and cut you a check. The first line, probably for everybody, will be the Master Educator Stipend, first installment, $500. Below that, you can put in anything that you have spent money on or indicated in your budget that you really need within reason. If it's something super expensive, like chartering a bus to do a field trip, you should probably run that by me first. But if it's a really low level cost, like getting on the subway or a local bus to get to some office, if it's up to like $100, I think it's fine. Just get me copies of your receipts and send them with your invoice.
Okay.
Good?
Yep, sounds good.
Stuff people are printing of flyers or business cards or, really simple things. If you're going to plan a huge pitch event, though, definitely that's going to get more expensive and you'll want to check in first because I wouldn't want you to spend money and not get reimbursed. So, yeah. All right. And we'll be sending the second installment sometime early, well, in the winter or early spring this year. All right. Yeah, so that's how you do it. There's a link to the template, and I'll send that. Turn that document into a PDF, and then you can just email me your invoice with the receipts.
So do you need that by a certain date, Amy, so you can process it? Did you say?
I would like to get them all in early October if possible. I mean, the earlier we can get you paid, I think the better for you.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have to send them in batches, but it might be easier to. So, yeah, the sooner you can. And then, okay, the second part of my Easter egg is the bugs. So, here's a clue. True or false? The woman we talked about before, Grace Hopper, the Grande Dame of military computing, the U.S. Navy Rear Admiral, put this entry into one of her logs. And it says, first actual case of bug being found in the Harvard Mark I in 1945. So, do you guys think this is true? Was this the first bug? Computer bug?
I think it would be. I remember reading something about a bug crawling into a big computer and dying, and that's. I don't know if that's that one.
I remember reading that as well, but I can't remember if since then I've read that that it's actually not true. So I'm going to go not true.
I'm going to go true just to test you, Tim.
Well, you're both right and wrong. So.
Oh, yay!
So you are right that it is the first physical bug that was ever logged, but you're wrong because 1947 was actually some actual bug was denoted, and this was too early for that. And then also reference to bugs have been happening a long time before that. So I did some research. I found out that Thomas Edison had made reference to a bug in some of his inventions in the 1800s. And even before then, especially the Scottish, were very interested in noticing or calling things out as bugs that were boogies or, monsters or things that would like throw a chink in your plans. So for the word nerds, yes, I hope I satisfied you. But I love it because engineers have the silliest sense of humor. So I love it. Yes.
That's very cool.
So this moth had flown into a Harvard Mark I panel, and they saved the moth and logged it. Very exciting stuff. So anyway, for those who who did not join us in person, they will be responsible for telling me whether this is true or false and what a bug is and all that. All right, you have been spared. Okay, so after today, when I catch up on things this weekend, I'm going to provide you with a template for the workshop, and I hope that you can make use of those two documents I showed you, so that you don't have to reinvent your wheel.
Hmm.
And then, if it worked for you to work in those small groups, I would like for you to share, your ideas on your workshop with each other, because I can't give you guys as much attention as I'd like to. How did that process go for you the first time? Was it like agonizing? Was it okay?
I think it was good, actually. It's really helpful.
Okay, who's on your team?
Mhm.
Let me see. Group you guys all together? Yes. Ha ha ha.
Yep.
Yeah, we are.
I figured switching time zone might be good. If you guys get sick of
Yeah.
each other and you want me to pair you up with someone else, let me know. But I'm happy that you're happy right now.
Yep.
A
Okay.
good team. Us Pacific people.
Yes, your team. The bugs. All right. So our next meeting is the 20th of October, and I'm going to try to get you guys into a groove of submitting your activity reports like 2 days before. And if you can, that's great, because then I can weave that content into the synthesis and make the meeting better. And for December 22nd, I know it's not the same for you guys, probably. If anyone wants to move the meeting a week earlier because of a holiday or anything, I'm totally open to that. Do you guys have a big holiday then?
Yeah, we go on holiday.
Tim? Tim, what happened? Do I have any of you?
I can hear Tim.
Okay. I guess Tim's mic
Can you
exploded.
hear me now?
Yeah.
So yeah, our holidays start at the beginning of December and we go back to school early February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a feeling that a lot of people will want to move that meeting. So I'm going to see if December 15th works for the most.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
December 15, I think.
Yeah. It gets kind of crazy around holidays and things like that. Okay. And then, Leslie, what's next is there's a fundraising webinar in case you have sponsorship questions, stuff like that. It's going to happen at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time next Thursday. So I guess it's kind of, yeah. I don't know if you'll be able to that'll be your middle of the night, I think. So,
Will that be recorded,
Just
Amy?
record it.
but you guys
We
are the
can play.
fun. All right, we'll survive without you. But I hope that you benefit from
Just record it.
it. Okay. And so now I guess the big push for you guys is just setting up the clubs, recruiting, getting your workshop ideas in order, figuring out when you might want to do that kind of launch workshop. And yeah, just getting ready for the next meeting. How does that sound?
That sounds
sounds good,
great,
Amy.
All right.
Yeah,
Whoops.
thanks for all your work and your help.
Thank you.
Very helpful. Thank you.
I will be the ruler and you guys can be the rocks.
Thank you.
Okay, it was a pleasure, and I will be in touch by email.
Okay,
Right,
thanks
thanks,
very
Amy.
much.
Thank you, Amy.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Jody. Goodbye, Tim. Goodbye,
Bye, Rodney.
Gabriela.
Bye, Tim. Bye, Gabriela.
Bye.
Bye.